Yo, so they released the version 3.4.2 highlights and they revealed a bunch of stuff. Some really good stuff, some questionable stuff. I'm gonna go over the new Espers first. So the new Esper, I called him GOAT in my previous video. He's actually a deer. I mean, he kind of looks like a goat a little bit, right? Whatever. So he is going to inflict sleep while enabling allies to deal extra damage on the target. Let me see if I can enlarge the subtitle a little bit. So right off the bat, we can see that he's probably going to be good for Forbiter. We don't know just how much his multiplier is going to be, but in Forbiter, what you want is to run a sleep unit. And if you take a look at the lineup right now, there's not that many good sleep units that we have, aside from maybe a few. In this team, you can maybe swap out Yun Chuan for this new unit if he is a good enough sleep unit. You don't really want to swap out Yun Chuan because, I mean, Yun Chuan does a lot of damage, but he also applies the miss rate debuff so that your team doesn't get one shot, right? So if this guy is a good enough sleep unit, you might be able to swap out Yun Chuan and then get a better score that way. Because if you guys don't know, Forbiter has this thing that if you inflict sleep, it will take more damage. So that is the reason why you want to bring all these sleep units. And with this guy inflicting sleep and also dealing enabling allies to deal extra damage, we don't know what the multipliers is. We'll have to see in the patch notes, but if he's doing these two stuff, then he might be the best option for a sleep unit for Forbiter. If you take a look at the other teams, we already have Elaine as one of the best sleep units because she has 2 turns of sleep on on both of her skills, and then her S1 also has a sleep, right? You can't really swap her out unless there is a better unit that can also increase damage or apply defense down, seer or whatever. Elaine is going to be staying as one of the best sleep units in Forbiter. But if you take a look at the other team, Hilda, while she is one of the best sleep units, it's not enough. For this team, my Hilda only does sleep and nothing else. She's not fast enough to apply defense break, and you need to rely on RNG because her sleep is only pretty much her S3. If you fail the 20% chance of resist, the boss will just take 1 turn and then snipes one of your unit, and then your team basically crumbles, right? If this guy can apply a 2-turn sleep on most of his skills while also bringing extra damage to the team, then he could replace Hilda in this team, right? I don't see him being useful in Counter Sonica or Dark Starlord unless his extra damage is going to be really high, like maybe something absurd like 50% extra damage on all of your allies. Then he could be good for both, for all of these Falsetto teams. But if he's only going to increase your damage by like maybe 20%, I don't think he's going to be that useful, because you can't inflict sleep or whatever on these bosses, right? And I think he's also going to be doing some form of AP control as well, because if you take a look at the later part of the video, there's going to be Chronos boss. So this Chronos is actually the Celestial Anomaly. I didn't even notice it. So we're getting a boss, rework or something. Chronos as the Celestial Anomaly boss. I don't know how I feel about this. No comment at this point. I'm just gonna wait to see what the patch notes is before I give my comments, right? We've waited 1 year for Celestial Anomaly rework, and if they were to give us just a rework of a boss that we already have in the game since the start of the game, I don't know what to say. But yeah, I think he's gonna be also doing some form of AP control to accommodate the new Chronos boss for Celestial Anomaly. The next unit is going to be the Fox Lady. She's a fighter that can also inflict puppet art, so I think this is going to be a new silver rim debuff. And then she's also going to be protecting your allies.
Weakening her enemies by inflicting puppet art and protecting her allies.
Right here, protecting her allies with funeral rites. I mean, the name of it sounds like your allies are going to be immortal. I mean, it's a fox spirit, right? Not too far-fetched to think that she's probably going to give you invulnerability or something to your entire team. I mean, the name also kind of suggested, right? Funeral rites. It kind of seems like your allies are not gonna die. So we'll have to see. Maybe she's gonna be good. And then also the new 4-star is going to be a defense type character that also inflicts debuffs when enemies attack her, and she's also going to steal the buffs on the marked enemies. There we go. When she attacks, she will steal the marked enemies buffs. Most of these free-to-play R6 epic espers, they will have this sort of gimmicks that they will mostly be tanking and then do counter attacks, because in PvP, unless you're doing like an insane amounts of damage, your only way to survive is really just be a bruiser. If you look at Emma, the only way that Emma can survive is because she is sort of a bruiser, right? As you do an AoE, she will counter you that way. She's not gonna be a turn 1 unit that can nuke the entire team. I think this is gonna be the same case as this new 4-star. She's gonna be mostly run in a tank team, and then you just put her on a counter attack runes or something, and she will just keep on countering and steal the buffs of the enemy. They need this kind of gimmicks to survive in the current PvP meta. Otherwise, if they're like a turn 1 unit, unless they're doing like something crazy, they're not really gonna survive. So this is probably a good thing that they're gonna make her somewhat of a bruiser. And then that's it, I think, for the new Espers. This one, like I said, I'm gonna hold my comment, but if they were to just give us like Kronos, Apep, Fafnir, and the other one, whatever that guy is called, Andras, as the Celestial Anomaly boss, that is like kind of copping out. We've waited 1 year to get a boss rework content. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. We'll have to see though in the patch notes, but this is the way that you're gonna be getting the new Ggez. We already know this from the preview, and also they mentioned that there's going to be 4 bosses. So first one is going to be Kronos, and then the rest 3 we don't know just yet. Okay, they're also going to give some 9 pieces of flawless equipment. You cannot choose the substats, but you can choose the main stats. That's kind of nice. So you mostly just want to go for like crit damage, flawless piece, and then if you get like really bad substats, just re-roll with the reset stones. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's this piece right here, the ring. You want to go for a crit damage piece because it's the hardest to get. Okay, this one is very nice. You can test different formations against knockout opponents you previously challenged. So I guess you can see, like right now, if you go to knockout, you can only see what teams that you are currently running and whether it's winning or not, right? So right here, you can see whether this team wins against the other enemies or not. But I think with this new optimization, you can test out different comps to try out against this type of enemy teams. So this is very nice because right now the rival rune system is completely garbage. You cannot really go and invest in units without knowing full well that they are going to be completely busted for your account because of how scarce the resource is, right? So you really need to take a look and see whether it's worth it or not to invest in the unit. I don't know if you still would need rival runes to test out different formations, because if you still need to level up your rival runes to test out different formations against the enemy team, then it wouldn't really change much, because in knockout you're going to be facing against other teams. So my first team is going to be facing against other 4 teams. It's random. I don't really know whether I should invest on a unit if the testing requires me to have the rival runes already leveled up. So we'll have to see if that is the case, because if that is the case, then this thing is almost pointless. I mean, it's useful to try and counter a certain comp, but you're facing that certain comp once every like 3 times. Once every 3 to 4 to 5 matches, right? Depending on what tier you are. If you're in gold tier, then you would be facing that comp 1 every 4 battles or something like that, right? Okay, so this has been asked for pretty much at the start of the game. Ultimate display, you can finally turn it off. you will now be able to completely turn off the ultimate animation of your Espers in battle. Very good for trying to speed running stuff. If you want to increase your reduce your speed times of your farming, you can turn it off. Or mostly for me, I am going for the speed run of Temporal Tower 50, or even like from floor 1 to floor 50. This is going to be very helpful for me because I will just have to turn off the ultimate animation and it would save me like a few minutes, because one animation, ultimate animation, takes up to like 5 to 8 seconds, and that's only one unit. So yeah, that's very nice, and I think that's about it.
Not enjoyed. Please let us know how you.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this update looks pretty good. Again, the Celestial Anomaly doesn't look too good because they're pretty much reusing the existing boss that we have in the game. This is only the first chapter. We don't know about the second or third or fourth chapter. I'm not going to give my full thought of it just yet. I'm going to wait for the patch notes. But the new units, like I said, the Visor looks pretty good for Phobiter, depending on how high his multiplier of extra damage is. He could be good for all bosses. I think he's might be good for PvP as well. The new Makima unit might be good for PvP because it seems like she's going to be providing some form of protection to your allies. Maybe it's damage reduction, or maybe it's even invulnerability or something like that, that cannot be stripped or something like that, right? And the new 4-star also looks like pretty decent. I wouldn't say she's the best, because she does need to attack to steal the buffs of the marked enemies. So that's it for the version highlights. I think the patch notes should be out in about 7 hours, at 8 o'clock or something. Yeah, ciao.